It is LUNES Macho Monday. Ian Torch here, and I'm sorry about not posting for Memorial Day, but that was kind of a heavy-hitting weekend for us. So we decided to give you a double-barrel double dose tonight. And of course, for those who were paying attention last week, the mysterious grappler was the Great Eagle from the mobile SNK game Big Bang Pro Wrestling. And speaking of some big bangs to hit the business, there was another massive release of talent from, WWE. One of those being Aleister Black, formerly Tommy End, and also Braun Strowman, who was kind of a big WWE project. They were focusing a lot on him, and it's kind of shocking and a little unexpected that they would in fact release him when he seemed to have so much potential. They were giving him pushes. He was being the new, I don't want to say carnival strongman, but his gimmick was the monster among men. He was like if Frankenstein never died. If he wasn't patched back together, if he was one solid monster from the beginning. And that became, quite the fixation that a lot of people had in the business, was this huge guy, and he can actually go, and he can work on the mic, and he's got good cardio, and his feats of strength are legitimate. And then, like I said, Tommy End was one of those that was released, as was Ms. Lovelace. I almost said Loveless. But both were very talented on the indie scene, and they busted their ass on the main roster in WWE. And it was interesting because they were and yet weren't allowed to really be themselves. And an even bigger kick in the teeth was how wonderful Lovelace, I keep saying Loveless, I'm sorry, Lovelace was just one of those members of the roster that was just, all-inclusive. She, as Ruby Riott, got all the other women of the roster together. They became a united front. They were doing everything they could to, legitimize the sport even more. And you keep thinking that, hasn't that already been done? It never stops. You have to keep going with that, especially where women are still, for some strange reason, looked at as kind of a novelty. Like, there are still allegedly women being hired only for their aesthetic, and then it's believed they can be trained in wrestling, as opposed to bringing in a wrestler who may have a love affair with the camera, or something to that extent. And then along the lines of, Tommy End, or, Aleister Black, for those who only knew him from his main roster exploits, they always kept him in a weird limbo. Like, they got him, but they kept him on a leash. Like, he could have been this nice, dark, brooding soul that really kind of creeped you out. Like, maybe he was going to be the new Undertaker. Maybe he was going to feud with Bray Wyatt. He and Finn Balor could have had some great matches. Very, very strong style. Very, very European catch. Because Finn, from Ireland. Alistair is from the Netherlands, I believe. Feel free to correct me in the comments, because I know you love to do that, because who doesn't? But yeah, and if I recall, I don't think they ever actually did get to cross paths. I believe they were both on the ICW roster at one point, but I can't remember them actually having a match. Hey, post a link if you have a match that they were in against each other. Or if they tagged. I mean, that could have been interesting to see those two. A special, like, full-on dark wizard, all-father Aleister Black and the Demon Finn Balor in the same ring at the same time, smashing opponents together. You tell me that would not have been the thing to see. That would have been a stellar encounter. That would have made Meltzer calm down about the W. But, of course, you know, people are immediately saying, oh, these guys are AEW bound. Not necessarily. I mean, there are multiple brands that are really picking up speed. You've got Major League Wrestling, you know, MLW. There are a lot of people that transfer over to Lucha Libre. So yeah, AAA might be picking up some people. CMLL. You know, we have New Japan. And, you know, there are other wrestling products in Japan as well. If I recall, Noah and Dragon Gate are still going strong. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong there. And then, you know, there's the Chinese market with OWE, Oriental Wrestling Entertainment. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to say that, but that's what the O stands for. Like I said, then you just have, you know, the North American indie scene. You know, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla is still one of those areas where you never know, you might see the next star. And like I said earlier, ICW, Insane Championship Wrestling, don't let the name fool you. It's actually a really good product. You know, you want to talk like catch style, solid strikes, good stretching. You know, it's in the UK, in Scotland, I believe. And so, you know, that's a nice twist. That's where Joe Hendry came from, and Joe Coffey as well made his way around there. I've just realized that second guy is kind of a controversial figure still, but there was a boom, and they went on to, you know, What Culture Pro Wrestling, which mutated into Defiant, and, you know, Defiant was bringing us a lot of good stuff before they closed their doors. So there are possibilities out there, and let's not forget that there is products opening in countries, you know, that you wouldn't think. You know, India is really trying to open up their own market. They're trying not to rely on Western money to fund Indian wrestling. And I'm curious to see what the definitive Indian product will be in the next 5 years or so, because Great Khali made his trek back to India and is training individuals. Some are saying that is a very interesting aspect and possibility of the individuals to be training Indian wrestlers. Who knows? Sanjay Dutt may be doing that as well. I don't know. I can look into that a little more. But, yeah. So we've got that going on. And, oddly enough, there is an Egyptian market opening up. I know this because Jesus Rodriguez, the former personal announcer of a certain patron, he is actually out there training Egyptian hopefuls. He is helping get young Egyptian kids in pro wrestling. And I'm really intrigued by that because his training videos have shown that he's mixing a lot of American, you know, power wrestling with, with his background, Lucha Libre. And I'm really curious about what Egyptian wrestling is going to look like. If I can get him on the hot seat, another show that I'm trying to get back up and running, if I can get him on the hot seat and he's allowed to give me details, maybe we can get some info on that and figure out, like, is he inventing a new style for us? That could be new. That could be exciting. That could be interesting. So, that's something that we need to look into. And, folks, if you know something I don't, the comment section's always there. Go ahead. But now, let's get to these matches. We're starting off with a triple threat match. Thumper, Katana, and the former heavyweight champion Flint Decker, who is going to come out on top. We've got a wild card in this match. Thumper trying to get up there, trying to get seen. Flint Decker has held that brass ring, and Katana, well, she just came into the biz and does not want to be ignored. And just like that, Katana takes that first win of the match. Good, solid 3-star match. Now we have a tag team match between the Wheelmen and the Hatchetmen. This one is getting hard-hitting, real quick, real fast, back and forth they go, folks. And if I'm not mistaken, there are a few foreign objects at the corners. We got wrenches and ice picks. The ref's got his hands full with these two. Oh, but our first elimination, and a clean sweep by the Hatchetmen in this elimination tag match. There you go, folks. Oh, God, Sugar versus Zed. This might be a one-sided match, folks, but you never know in the world of wrestling. And just like that with the keg stand, Sugar gets one over on Zed. Now we have our ladies' match. This is a non-title match between Sweet Jane and Eliza Bratt. And Eliza is just bringing it to the champion. She's not letting up. And with the bad influence, she gets one over on the champ. Does this put her in line for a shot at the belt? Who knows? But now we have North Star taking on the Silencer in the middle of the ring. These two are going back and forth. And just like that, with the flowing force, North Star gets the win. And here we are with Hearst and Europa, definitely letting the crowd know they are still an effective force and will not let up until they have those titles in their hands. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event, a last man standing match for the title between Donnie Atomic and Marvella Vale, a boxer coming into the wrestling world. And, last man standing. Whoa! I stand corrected! The atomic bomb is what gets it done! And our reigning and defending champion lives to fight another day. Well, let's hope you know who that legend was at the bottom of the screen. Right now, Katana is really looking to end this with the Kanuchi connection. Ice Pick has his opponent in serious trouble. He's setting it up. Rib splitter. 1, 2, 3. Sugar has his opponent in his grasp. Look out. Here it comes. Kickstand. 1, 2, 3. Eliza's getting cocky now. Will she go for it? Yes. Bad influence. 1, 2, 3. Aspen North Star is unstoppable. We're going to witness it right now. There it is. Flowing force. 1, 2, 3. Jacob Hurst and Mr. Europa let everyone know there's no tag team that is better. And as we saw earlier, it was Donnie Atomic who beat Marvella Vale to the count and got to his feet to retain his title. What a match, folks. But like I said, this is only the first of a doubleheader. So let's get to it right now. Domingo in a handicap match here, folks. Let's see if our champion can hold off Intruder and Hijack. He is doing everything he can to hold them off. However, with the lethal weapon, these two pick up the win on the champion. I hope that doesn't affect him going into his match at Beach Bash. But now we've got Reba Roughneck and Brooklyn Bell vying for a spot going into the women's title scramble. Who's going to come out on top? Reba gets it done with the ground and pound. Oh, she's coming back. Now, folks, this next match is not for the faint of heart. It is an elimination death match between Grand Maga, Prince Serif, and Lord Evermore, and the VIPs. This is an elimination match. I do believe this is our first death match within the show, so this is a groundbreaking moment for us. Elimination style death match, 6-man. And with that, Grand Manga and company get the win. Oh, Katana really getting the people riled up here. Very exciting stuff. And now, a triple threat between Dre Apex Grifter and Shadow Man. This one has got Superhero Showdown written all over it. Who is going to come out on top? And with the Brain Basher, Grifter shocks the world. Oh, what are these two knuckleheads doing? Oh, they're trying to get in the boss's ear. I don't like the look of this. I hope you're ready for some aerial combat, folks, because we have Seraph taking on the Buzzard in the ring. Good God, these two are flying all over the place. I didn't even know the Buzzard had that kind of vertical in him. But with the strangulation, he catches us all off guard and picks up the win over the high-flying, heaven-sent hero. And now, an intergender match, two of the hardest-hitting opponents in the ring right now. The former women's champion, oh, and she gets drilled for her efforts. Good God. And now we have singles competition between the tag champions and the challengers as Jacob Hurst takes on Gridiron in the ring. And these two are slugging it out. Who's going to come out on top? It looks like he's locking it in. Good God. Another guillotine choke from Gridiron. I don't know how Marvella Vale is pulling this off, but he's getting another title shot, this time against Yoshimuro. In one of our stranger matches, the coal miner's glove on a pole match, the purpose is to take the glove and knock your opponent out, which is what Marvella Vale just did! I can't believe it, we have a new champion heading into the middle of the month, going into Beach Bash. Oh God, Marvella Vale just picked it up and we are not going to hear the end of it. I can tell you that right now. I can see him in the corner already going off and tweeting up a storm. This is going to be quite the summer. I can reassure you of that for sure. Because folks, if this is how we're starting things off, I can only imagine how we're going to end things before we head into the fall. But you may be wondering where the vintage matches are. Trust me, we have a few Beach Bash potentials from the past that will be showing up when we give you Beach Bash later this month. Oh, we have got some heavy hitters, some introductions to high flying, and some bestial encounters like none other. I can tell you, we got some prime stuff coming. And let's not forget, we've got fresh talent here chomping at the bit to get their shot at glory. But we're not the only ones, folks. Remember that. Wrestling is alive. Wrestling is still going strong. Wrestling is here to stay. So why don't you take a moment and take some notes on these upcoming shows, where they're going to be, how you can get a hold of them, if you can stream them, if you can see them live. They got YouTube channels. Some even do Twitch. There are all sorts of ways to experience wrestling, and there's so many different flavors. You can turn on your TV and watch the national brands. You can check each and every one of these shows out. Do what you can. Help support independent wrestling, no matter where it is, no matter when it is, no matter how it's done. Wrestling is necessary to each and every one of us, no matter what the system may claim. This keeps us going, no matter what. So please, take note. Get in on some of this. You will not regret it. And you might see some upcoming stars and faces of the future only now in the local ring. And you can say that you were there. And you did not regret any second of it. There are also seminars coming back. Wrestling seminars. This is something that hasn't happened in a long time. But until next time, I'm Ian Torch. This is LUNES Macho Monday. And that's it! It's over! Ring the bell! Glad wrestling isn't like this.